He said, "Man, that sure is one good-looking stagecoach." That's what they used to call a motor coach back then, a bus, a motorhome. For 60 years, Ernest Borgnine kept quiet about the co-star who made his life hell. Now, shocking details are finally coming out about what really happened on set: violent outbursts, sabotaged scenes, and the coffee-throwing incident that left someone with second-degree burns. But the most explosive revelation wasn't professional. It was deeply personal. Today, the truth behind Hollywood's most dangerous feud finally comes to light. Ernest Borgnine's path to Hollywood was never planned. Born Ernest Borgnino in 1917 in Hamden, Connecticut, he started life as the son of Italian immigrants chasing the American dream. But before he could even form memories, his life changed. When he was 2 years old, his parents separated. His mother took him to Italy, where he spent 5 years learning the language, absorbing the culture, and growing up as if he'd been born there. Then in 1923, everything shifted again. His parents reconciled and brought the family back to the United States. His father changed his name from Camillo to Charles. Their last name was shortened to Borgnine to sound more American. For young Ernest, this identity shift was just the first of many transformations that would shape his future. Growing up in New Haven, he had no interest in acting. He wasn't dreaming of Hollywood or sneaking into theaters. He cared about sports and physical competition. His high school yearbook didn't mention drama at all. Nothing suggested he would ever stand in front of a camera. But fate had other plans, and it all began with the U.S. Navy. In 1935, fresh out of high school, he enlisted. He served 6 years on the USS. In 1941, he received an honorable discharge, ready to move on. But 2 months later, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Ernest couldn't sit by and watch. He re-enlisted in 1942 and served aboard the USS Sylph, patrolling the Atlantic coast. War changed him, made him tougher, more disciplined, and gave him a deep sense of camaraderie. By the time he left in 1945, he was a gunner's mate, first class, with multiple honors. He almost re-enlisted for another decade. Had he done it, Hollywood would have never known his name. Everything shifted because of one simple comment from his mother. She told him he had a forceful personality and should try acting. At first, it seemed absurd. He had no experience and no connections. But he didn't hesitate. He enrolled in drama school, then joined the Barter Theater in Virginia, a place where actors were sometimes paid in vegetables. He worked non-stop, taking any role he could while painting sets, fixing costumes, and even scrubbing toilets. One night, during a performance, he had to chase a live chicken across the stage. The bird escaped into the audience, sending the crowd into chaos. But Ernest learned to improvise, to stay calm, and to turn disaster into entertainment. He eventually landed a role in Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie, which drew attention. By 1949, he made it to Broadway with Harvey, starring James Stewart. Casting directors never knew where to place him. His face looked too tough for comedy and too funny for drama. But in Harvey, he found his footing. He studied Stewart closely, keeping a notebook filled with observations. The play ran for nearly 1,800 performances, giving him the stability he needed. In 1951, he made his television debut in Captain Video, playing a villain. It wasn't glamorous, but it got him noticed. A year later, Columbia Pictures cast him in The Whistle at Eaton Falls. Then came the role that changed everything: Sergeant Fatso Judson in From Here to Eternity, 1953. His Navy experience made him perfect for military roles, but nothing prepared him for playing a sadistic brute. The infamous scene where he beats Frank Sinatra's character to death with a nightstick shocked audiences. Sinatra himself had doubts about Ernest at first, but once filming began, those doubts vanished. Ernest went all in. He isolated himself, stayed in character, and delivered such intensity that Sinatra refused to speak to him off camera. Crew members avoided him. He later admitted the role gave him nightmares for months. The film's success made him a star, but some viewers confused the actor with the character and even sent death threats. 2 years later, he stunned Hollywood again. This time, as The Gentle Butcher and Marty, a small-budget film with no expectations, became a cultural sensation. At the 1955 Academy Awards, he won Best Actor, beating legends like James Dean and Spencer Tracy. Surprisingly, he wasn't the first choice for the role. Director Delbert Mann had wanted Rod Steiger, but after a chance encounter at a party, Ernest was invited to audition. Mann later said, "Ernest Borgnine didn't act Marty, he was Marty." His career proved he couldn't be boxed in. In The Dirty Dozen, 1967, he performed his own stunts at age 50. In The Wild Bunch, 1969, he shocked audiences with a performance so intense it haunted him later. Meanwhile, his television journey was equally unpredictable. He became a household name with McHale's Navy, drawing from his real wartime experience to play the relaxed but resourceful commander. During filming, a pyrotechnic accident burned his face and hands, pausing production for weeks. He returned stronger than ever. The U.S. Navy even modeled a classified training exercise after the show, calling it Operation McHale. Years later, he joined Airwolf, surviving a near-fatal helicopter accident. Then came an unexpected chapter voicing Mermaid Man in SpongeBob's. His grandson convinced him to take the role, and it became a beloved character for a new generation. His final session was recorded just 2 weeks before his death at 95. Despite becoming a TV icon, Ernest once rejected television entirely. After winning the Oscar, he turned down the real McCoys, calling TV a fad. But meeting a sick child in 1961 changed his perspective. The boy told him Ernest movies helped him get through hospital stays. Ernest realized TV reached people in a way film couldn't. When McHale's Navy came along, he didn't hesitate. His love life was just as dramatic as his career 5 marriages, each with its own story. His first wife, Rhoda Kem, was with him before fame, but Hollywood tore them apart. His second marriage, to fiery Mexican actress Katie Arado, was filled with passion and volatile arguments. Then came the infamous 32-day marriage to Broadway legend Ethel Merman. Their honeymoon in Japan became a battleground. Fans swarmed Ernest, leaving Merman feeling ignored. Tensions exploded. She threw a diamond and pearl ring into a koi pond and filed for divorce, less than 5 weeks later. In her autobiography, the chapter titled My Marriage to Ernest Borgnine was a blank page. After another failed marriage, he finally found real love with businesswoman Tova Tresnes. Married in 1973, they stayed together for nearly 40 years. Ernest often said she was the reason he kept going. Behind the scenes, Ernest's Hollywood experiences weren't always pleasant. Working with Shelley Winters on the Poseidon Adventure was notoriously difficult. Winters brought a 20-page character backstory and pushed for script changes. Borgnine was caught in the middle. Her insistence on doing her own underwater stunts turned one scene into a grueling 14-hour shoot with 65 takes. Despite the frustration, he later admitted her instincts were usually right. His work with Spencer Tracy on Bad Day at Black Rock was equally intense. Tracy's improvisation kept Ernest off balance. During one scene, Ernest froze when Tracy changed a line, and that take made the final film. Their physical differences added tension to their famous fight scene. After a hard, accidental punch to Tracy's jaw, the set fell silent. Tracy shrugged it off. That moment marked a turning point. Tracy eventually recommended Ernest for Marty. Then came Johnny Guitar, 1954. Ernest walked into one of Hollywood's most explosive feuds. Joan Crawford and Mercedes McCambridge were at war. Crawford threw Mick Cambridge's costumes onto a highway. The two women couldn't be filmed together. On one occasion, they went from shouting to physically fighting. Ernest and Sterling Hayden had to pull them apart. Crawford also threw hot coffee at a crew member, leaving him with severe burns. Ernest never forgot it. He once said, "Working with Joan was like walking on eggshells while juggling dynamite. Brilliant, but terrifying." Throughout all the chaos, Ernest Borgnine proved that resilience, dedication, and heart could outshine even the darkest parts of Hollywood.